Hey y'all, we have a familiar face back on today. My man Chris Franklin. If you've listened before, he's no stranger to you. But Chris, go ahead and tell the people about if this is their first time listening.
Hey, thanks for having me on again, man. Truly appreciate it. Chris Franklin with NJ.com, South Jersey Times, Eagles beat reporter alongside Mike K as well too, my cohort, and we give all the news and analysis, the latest stuff that's going on with the Eagles. And once again, Matt, thanks again for having me on. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. This is like a special edition because before we had you on during the preseason, and I think you and I were kind of in the same boat, like maybe 7, 8, 9 wins.
Yeah.
And to be thinking that gets us into the playoffs.
Playoffs? This team? No, kidding. That's hard.
And then the second time we had you on the season, you were talking to us about the super wild card, and it's so funny. Now it's the super wild card.
Which makes me wonder, like, is it the fifth seed, like going like, hey, you know what? These other two are wild cards, but you're the super wild card. You're king of the wild cards. Or it's the seventh seed where it's going, the first two, you know what? You're wild cards, but you're number 7. You're the super wild card. You just got in. Like, I don't know who gets that determination. It's a weird way. I feel like we're back in the 70s, but hey, the Eagles are happy they're a part of that weekend, man.
And if they add an 8th, it would be like the super duper.
Oh, if that happened, you know what? I could see that like 5-6 years from now. We're making a lot of money. What can we do? We can add another game. Super duper. You read my mind. Oh goodness.
Well, from the NFL's perspective, like obviously, like for the consumer, it makes it more suspense. Like having that 7th spot because like it worked down to the last minute of the season. You have the Chargers driving, or the Raiders driving against the Chargers, and he calls the timeout. It's high stakes. So from that perspective, but obviously the main thing was they wanted to get some more money. So
oh yeah, also now they got the extra money for a Monday night wild card game, and leading into it's just so much stuff. I mean, they got all the streaming platforms. They got Nickelodeon's going to be part of it now, where they get the kids to show one of the Cowboys San Fran games. So they made a lot of money just by adding one additional team and changing all these packages. It's craziness.
It's exciting, and for the Eagles faithful who are listening, or if you don't like the Eagles, you just like the show, thank you. But today is 18 years to the day, the 4th and 26 play, McNabb to Freddie Mitchell.
Oh, and if you ask the Packers fans, they'll say he was short, but good choice of the jersey there. Good choice of the jersey, man. A guy who's.
Do you think he was short?
Oh, so some Packers fans, I know a couple of them, they're like, oh, he was short. That should have never been a first down. And they're lucky the instant replay was around. Some of them, I thought he made it. They have a case to make it that. They have a case, but I thought Mitchell made the line and got over it.
I think in the air, he got it. I don't know how they're measuring it because he caught it in the air. He's like over the first down, but when he hits the ground and then gets hit back, how do you measure the forward progress?
Yeah, I thought he had it. I thought he had about like at least a half a yard, but I go, no, well, that's what happened. Well, maybe you should have told Brett Favre not to throw that interception to Brian Dawkins. Maybe he actually won that game.
That should be embarrassing. You can't. In retrospect, I always tell like the kids that I coach, and I tell people like who like sports, like obviously, yeah, that one play is going to frustrate you, but you cannot blame one call, one play, one missed tackle for a game being thrown. And so, the idea that because they mismeasured that one play, that's why you lost. I mean, I think that's pretty embarrassing. I mean,
especially coming around, they had all the momentum, they had everything else, and then now you want to say, oh, well, you should. It's 4th and 26. Why you got your guys play? Why do you allow a 4th and 26 like this?
Jonathan Gannon, if you're listening.
Oh no. I was say that's the Jim Schwartz defense. Put the sticks. Everybody put the 5 people along the where they had to get the line of games. Like, okay,
actually, you're right, because Gannon wouldn't give that up.
It would have been a Cloud 7 shell, or they would have a Tampa 2 would have had the one running back, the run linebacker running backwards. And never mind. I say in jest.
I really hope it doesn't come down to that.
I can hear right now. Merrill Reese is going for 4th and 26. Oh, Mike, they just let that out. They just happened. Tom Brady actually complete. I just hear a collective gasp happening in the Philadelphia area would just.
Ooh.
That would not be good.
People would storm down to South Philly. You be seeing all the people getting on the L, getting on all the trains down to South Philly, man. It'd be a mess.
Yeah, it would. Oh, it would. Oh boy.
So you wrote a piece yesterday in your publication, NDay.com, about the 5 things the Eagles need to do to pull an upset, because currently right now the Eagles are 8.5-point dogs in Tampa. So go through some of those for us, if for people who aren't smart enough to be already reading you, man.
Thank you. The first thing I think they have to do is they really have to not be afraid to run the ball, especially in the middle of the field. They have to honor it. It's going to be tough because you have Ndamukong Suh, you have Vita Vea in the middle at defensive tackles lying there, and the Bucs are only allowing 2.3 yards a carry in that between that A gap range, and so you're not going to probably get a lot of yards that way, but you have to force them and make them commit. So you have to run the ball that way. But the Eagles could have success running toward the outside, toward the on the zone, so Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson's range, because they're averaging 7.1 yards a carry. The Bucs are giving up 7.1 yards a carry on those. So I think that's very important. I think they have to find creative ways to scheme open Dallas Goedert and Devonta Smith. I think I think you can get some favorable matchup if you put Smith in the slot. I think teams are going to start are hip on now what they're doing. The Eagles are going to do the job that Dallas Goedert have done and Smith. So I think you have to find different creative ways to make sure that that Goddard's not seeing a lot of brackets, meaning you have safety help on top of a guy playing underneath too, and basically double team. So I thought that was key. Another one I think is key is Sirianni has to be himself. He's in the moment right now. He can't allow himself to basically say, I'm looking across Tom Brady and coach scared in a way. I think that's another version that he has to worry about as well too. And why am I just forgetting my 5? I'm tired. Sorry. I think just thinking offhand, I think when you look at the defenses, the linebackers, so basically when it comes to, they have to not let the Buccaneers tight ends basically run roughshod in the middle of the intermediate part of the field, because they don't have Antonio Brown anymore because of the dance he decided to do and just left in the middle of that Jets game. They also don't have Chris Godwin, who tore his ACL. So that leaves Mike Evans, and then they still have Rob Gronkowski, they still have Cameron Brate, and they also still have OJ Howard there at tight end. So when you look at what they offer in the middle, instead of the Bucs usually attacking vertically, they can tell horizontally, run those crossing routes with those tight ends. It's going to be imperative that you see Alex Singleton, TJ Edwards, and also the Eagles safeties, including Rodney Harrison. I wouldn't be surprised if Marcus Epps gets a lot more run than he normally did, to not only basically play tight down here, but also wrap up and not let them get yards after catch, because it could be a death by 1,000 paper cuts if they continue to just march along and just slow drip. So those are the keys I think that would be very important for them to watch when it comes to this game.
I hate to say it, because he seems like such a good guy, and I know he's going to be playing, but I am not looking forward to seeing Alex Singleton out there. I think Gronkowski's just going to eat that guy alive. But he is the pick 6 expert, so maybe, yeah.
He is. It is tough. I forgot the other one. I apologize. Sorry. I think this is tough too. One thing that can possibly lead to a pick 6 is the defensive linemen getting their hands up during this game, because it's going to be rare that if you sack Brady, this is one of the games where if you do sack Brady and you're not down by 16 or if it's a real close game, something like that time thing, you actually celebrate, because it's a very rare thing to do. And so when you can't do that as much, the big important thing is to raise your hands into those passing lanes, obstructing the view, trying to make it tough for him to see around, but also getting those deflections as well too, because when you get that push up the middle and he's not feeling comfortable, he moves around and you're trying to throw, or he's throwing off the backside of the foot, or trying to throw different arm angles. When you have those 6'3", 6'4" guys getting no arms up, it's tough to get the ball through there. Brady's been able to do it, but using someone else that's less, some of these defensive tackles has, it's going to be tough to do. So if he can get their hands up, maybe get a couple of passes batted back into his face, get some deflections that lead to interceptions, that would go a long way for helping the Eagles out.
Man, I was one of the few bright spots from that embarrassing game. It's embarrassing for the Eagles because obviously you just don't like seeing the Cowboys ever do anything at the link. And then it's embarrassing for the Cowboys because they were leaving Dak in there late. But as an Eagles fan, one of the things that I really enjoyed about that game was I think Milton Williams really, really showed out. And I think we need to have him just coming off the edge, kind of like a John Randall kind of deep defensive end, just a overpowering kind of guy. What do you think about, do you think that we'll see that, or you think they'll have him coming from the tackle spot?
I think they can mix him in from there because I like the way he plays violently. And I've been waiting that for. He uses his hands to because a lot of times you'll see defensive linemen don't like getting their hands up in the middle because they basically lose leverage. He's very violent with his hands, just the chops. He uses a lot of his physical abilities to get past that, and he's developing his pass rush moves now. So that's coming along with the physical aspect of it. And especially if you're not going to get to Brady a lot, he's not a bad guy I wouldn't mind seeing push the pocket in a little bit more and make things a little bit more uncomfortable. So I would be surprised if they use a little bit of that. They've been using that 3-4 under look where they'll have one guy, an additional, like to the two linebackers on the side. You'll use like either like Jannard Avery, Patrick Johnson on one side, and with the other four things. So I wouldn't be surprised if they use him in that role, like more as one of the D tackles or like toward the edge guy. I just don't hope they drop him back like on his own blitz. I wouldn't want to see that at all. But seeing all the other stuff around there, I think using that, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing that. I mean, he'll probably get more production than what Ryan Kerrigan's giving him right now.
Oh my goodness! I mean, you and I are giving him the production that Ryan Kerrigan.
I almost thought he was going to get sacked last week. There was we almost got a sack. I'm like, this will be a good way to maybe this will use the way to catapult to the playoffs. And then he got washed his sides. Like, okay. That's not going to happen.
It's crazy. I mean, I know that. I mean, all of us knew that we weren't getting prime Ryan Kerrigan, but if you would have told me before the season that we were going to end up with 0 sacks, I'm not even sure if I've seen him have a tackle. I mean, I'm sure he has tackles, like assisted tackles, but I have not seen him like in the open field make any plays at all season. It's amazing.
It was, I think, the Carolina game. I thought we're all in the press box, and we finally saw him. It was late before. I think it was like late in the second quarter, and he made a tackle. I was like, everybody's like, "That's 90. That's Kerrigan." And you shouldn't have that coming from a guy you thought who was going to be a good your second tier pass rusher, or basically be your pass rushing specialist. I mean, I know he had dealt early on with the hand injury. And he came out, it was wrapped up, and it took some time to get used to the scheme, new city, and everything else. But I would have thought by now he would have been even a little bit more productive in the pass rush as opposed to just he does a good job setting the edge. I'll give him that. He does a good job setting the edge, and keeping contained, not letting runs get outside of him. But I don't think they brought him in to do that. I thought they brought him in more to get the sacks, and that's just not have been there for him.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. So somebody that we brought up last week from the practice squad, who made I was also impressed by was Milton Williams, but then we have Jason Huntley at running back and as kick returner. You think possibly we could get him in there to supplant Rager and maybe make us a splash play when we need it?
I think that was very interesting that they brought him up because either they may have gotten rumbling somebody's trying to sign him away off the practice squad, but they probably could have protected him. But I thought it was very curious, and I think it's more. I'm looking at the sense of how ready is Miles Sanders now, because now you have 5 running backs up, or is Jordan Howard? What's wrong with him? What's up with him? Because the fact you bring him up, Huntley was a very good kick returner. Back when New Mexico State, he was there. He did that. That's why he garnered a lot of attention. And when we were watching him in training camp this year or this season, he looked really good as not only just in his kick returns, but running the ball, running that out, toward the outside. And it was just a matter of him developing as a pass blocker. And I thought he was going to may have beaten Jordan Howard out. I thought he was playing that well until he injured his ribs. The fact that he's on the fact that he's up there now, if he has to be activated and say Sanders is not ready, Jordan Howard, something up with him. And once again, this is speculation, so nothing's been finalized. The injury report comes out tomorrow after the first walkthrough. If Sanders is not ready, and that's why they brought him up, I get it, because now you can use him as a kick returner. Even if it's 1 or 2 kickoffs, 3 kickoffs, kick returns he gives you a chance. He's patient. He lets the lanes develop. He doesn't just run rough shot up the middle, just go, well, I'll just try to get how many, and he doesn't run side to side, which is very important on kickoffs because you can't just let guys. You got to maximize as many yards you can going north south on kickoff return. So he does that very well. So I think we'll see probably, especially Thursday. By the time we see the injury report after Thursday, if we see either Sanders or Howard are not ready, then that's where we start to see if he's going to be okay.
You think Miles Sanders is ready to go on Sunday if you had to guess?
I think I put it 50-50. I know it's a cop-out answer. I'd probably say 60-40 yes, because if it was going to be longer, I think the Eagles knew they were going to play in Wild Card Weekend and they weren't going to win the division. I think after that Giants loss, they pretty much knew, yeah. So the fact they were playing for that wild card, and they knew they probably need him at least for 1 week, and they want to put him on IR because he would have been done for the season. I think they're hopeful. I don't think if he does, I don't see him getting the normal carries that he normally does. I think it's going to be a pretty even Sanders, Scott, Howard, Gainwell type thing that they all are around the same amount of touches. But yeah, I'm more worried about that hand and how well it is if he gets hit on it. I know they're going to protect it as best they can, but if somebody does a peanut punch on it and that ball drops on the ground, the last thing this team wants to do against the Buccaneers, especially with Brady on the sidelines, give him extra possessions.
Yeah, and I mean, he played really well in the regular season game against the Bucs in that second half. But I think, should the Eagles win, I think he would be more useful in the Packers type of game where you need a couple of explosive plays. This is the game where you got to keep Brady off the sideline. So Howard, Huntley, Scott, hammer it in there. Maybe give Miles Sanders 5, 6, 7 touches. But I don't think we need to go heavy on Miles Sanders this week.
No. Because I think this, if anything, if they really were looking and they really feel like they have a chance to win, this is the week I'd rest Howard a little bit more because I can think of. I know he's going through a couple of injuries before him, but I just remember Jordan Howard that Thursday night game up in Green Bay and just his history against the Packers overall, running down basically just running right into the teeth of that defense, and I think that's where you can beat the Packers, but. And this much, you're basically going to run into a brick wall going against this Buccaneers defensive tackle. So yeah, I think this is it. I wouldn't be surprised if Boston Scott get more. It's like a Miles Sanders, Boston Scott more. Try to get those edges and try and get the edges and go around there. I'm not going to use a hairdresser joke, but now.
I'm just thinking here. I don't get to go watch the practice, but maybe this is what Sirianni is going to pull out of the bag. But I really don't. It's weird to see an Eagles team that doesn't do as much of the running back screen. We do wide receiver screens, we do tight end screens. It'd be really good to see some of that. Maybe use the Buccaneers' aggressiveness against them with Vita Vea, because Vita Vea, he's good at crashing in on the inside. But if you get him out in space, he's going to be in trouble, especially with Boston Scott. So don't listen, Buccaneers. But yes.
Big guys don't like to run out towards the sideline to sideline a lot. They just like to be in their little phone booth, get me between the hash marks. If I have to take a couple of linemen, let me defend my gaps. They don't want to be running outside over there. So a screen pass would be good. I don't know what it is though. It seems like the timing, they started to try to do it a little bit a few weeks ago, but I don't know if it's a timing thing. I don't know if it's just depending on who is back there, but it just seems a little off. I don't know. I mean, they got the tight end screen, like you mentioned, the Goddard down well. Would have liked to see Tyree Jackson, if he was still healthy, get that, because I think he would have done all right. But it's going to be interesting. It's a fun guessing game to see who's going to get the touches or something like that.
Absolutely. So say obviously I'm not rooting for this, but let's say on Sunday the Eagles get beat convincingly, 10 points, 11 points, or whatever just the line says, right? 8.5. Has Jalen shown you enough this year to say that they need to build around him for at least next year?
I think so. I think when you look at what he provides, first I look at improvement. And I think that the coaching, I think a lot of credit has to go to Brian Johnson, the Eagles quarterback coach, Shane Steichen, and Nick Sirianni, because for adapting the offense to his strengths. I don't think early on, I think he was still finding his way as a starter. So throwing the ball 40, 45 times a game wasn't the best suit for him. As time's going on, and you hate to see it, say an injury is the reason why somebody is better, but that ankle injury, I think, put more of the focus on that his pocket presence, the pocket awareness, and moving around there. And I think he's done a very good job. He's improved a lot when it came to there, especially just looking at where he came from as a rookie last year in that training camp to seeing where he is now and the way he's been refined. There's been a lot of improvement, and I think you can't, and I really truly believe a lot of emphasis is put on, wow, this guy has a big arm, or wow, this guy can throw 60, 70 yards. But there's something to it where I point to Jamarcus Russell, guys like that, where what other stuff does he bring to the table to the team to help him out? He has the buy-in of the veteran. From beginning of training, from training camp on, he's had the buy-in of the veterans. He seems to appear to be the leader. He's taking time to be the leader. I know that's talked about a lot, but I think that's key as well too. And he's taking command of this offense. And who knows, him being in an offense, the same offense for 2 straight years, I think that will go a long way too. So all they have to do, they just have to find, the Eagles just need to get a 3rd or 4th reliable receiving option, because after Smith and Goddard, Watkins here and there, they don't use them as much. We all know what we've seen from Jalen Reagor. We know what we've seen J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Zach Ertz is gone. They have to find a 3rd one. That's what I think they have to focus on. If they get that, I think the sky's the limit for him. I think when you look at when you look at Carson, I think he's going to have to be back for the sake of Frank Reich's and Chris Ballard's jobs, because the fact that they had to give up so much to get him, they basically handed the Eagles their 1st round pick this year, and they gave the 3rd last year. I think when you look at everything they invested on there, I think he's back. And I know Frank Reich sounded non-committal in doing that when it was during his press conference, and it didn't sound like strongly, which, hey, he's our guy, which I'm sure Carson loved given past experience with it. But looking overall, I wouldn't be surprised if they drafted a guy. I think they would, if I'm the Colts, I'm bringing in a veteran backup, somebody with experience who has starter experience to come fill in for him, because unfortunately for Wentz, we all know his injury history, and the Colts can't miss a beat. They can't worry about. We hope that this virus is going away for the future, but in case they bring back similar protocols and it's not, and with his vaccination status, they're going to need a good, viable backup, a veteran guy to help them with the win. So I think that's the route to go. And then I think that's the route that Ballard and the Colts will go. And then if they don't have success again this year, then they can clean house. I can see Irsay letting go Ballard, letting go Reich, letting go Wentz, and starting fresh. But I have a feeling that he's going to be the guy, and they're going to do a little better. Not that much, but just a little better, given that they play in the AFC South still.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they end up bringing him back. I think that they try to get him a target. Carson works really well with the big targets. People slow receivers that he can just throw the ball up and they can snag it. So I think that that's what's going to end up happening. They are invested in Carson. They got a coach for him. They got, he was supposed to bring them up over the top, but I think that now we've transplanted minds. Like, their fan base is not bought in on Carson. Carson is kind of like kissed up to their fan base and talked about how it feels like family. That last episode of Hard Knocks really is going to be sad, though.
I can see it now. Well, we didn't do what we need to do, and we're going to find a way to get everything back. We'll be back, God. I'm not worried. I can hear the quotes just going in, his inflection going that way too. And you mentioned bigger receivers. I'm truly shocked, and I say this in jest, but I'm kind of actually shocked that they didn't try to sign Jordan Matthews as like a tight end or something like that, because being the relationship that Wentz has with him, I'm shocked they haven't done it yet. Not to say put things out there, but maybe that's his safety blanket when he's out there, and the guy he bounces things off while things aren't going so well. I don't know.
Nah, dude, we need people who catch the football. It's crazy because Jordan Matthews was one of those guys who would make an incredible catch on first down, get you down into the red zone, and then drop the touchdown. Not even like J Jaw was just awful always. But Jordan Matthews had moments, man.
Conspiracy theory 81-18. Never see him in the same place. Let's get now.
Oh my gosh. So let's get into this football weekend. So Raiders are going to the Bengals. What do you think happens there? That's the first game of the lineup.
Is that I'll start with the Raiders in this one. That game with the Chargers was just that was instant classic NFL films worthy type game and stuff like that. And Brandon Staley made the biggest mistakes of anybody. Why I call a timeout there, but overall, the reason why I'm bringing them up first is that took a lot out. That had to have taken a lot out of the Raiders. And then you have to turn around and play on a short week in Cincinnati. So Cincinnati's been waiting for this for a while. They're coming off rested. They haven't won the division since 2015 or something like that. Their fans are going to be amped up. The Raiders are going to be playing outdoors, tired and everything else. I think this is just scream Cincinnati wins this game. I really truly believe it.
I'm with you. Like I would take the over. I think the line is 6. I'm taking the over on that. I would take the over if it was 10 for all the reasons you said. You kind of spend all your emotional energy. Like in 2008, I really thought that was going to happen to the Eagles when we had that 44-6 game. I was like, okay, well, this is great that we made the playoff, but that first round we're going to be emotionally spent. It was amazing. It takes a lot out of you to win a game like that. You played the game as well, so you know exactly how that feels.
Yeah, it hurts, especially because your body doesn't really truly feel right until about like Thursday, Friday, where you're like, all right, I feel normal-ish again. Right. Oh well, we got to go into a plane, go halfway cross country, a little bit more than halfway cross country, play in a cold, really cold. I don't even know if it's Paul Brown anymore, First Energy, whatever they call it, Cole Stadium right there for it in Cincinnati. That's just, it's just screaming like I think Cincinnati's going to roll when this one in, and I wouldn't. Jamar Chase is, I think, is going to light them up when he's going to light up that Raiders secondary. I think.
Yeah, I'm calling that one. I say 31-20.
That's not bad. I guess you know what? Actually, not bad at all. You're right. I think the over. See, the only thing I don't know is I gotta see the weather report. This is weird. I don't know where is the weather report also, but I just got this feeling that depending on the wind, I could see. I'm gonna hedge it. I'm gonna go 28-20. I'll go 28-20 a little bit. The Bills are one of those frustrating teams this year to me because you saw the capabilities that they had with Josh Allen, with Stephon Diggs, with that defense. That they had all the elements there, and then they just fell off like toward the end of the season. And I think that's a key thing. Like I don't know how Sean McDermott's got to. If I'm Sean McDermott, I'm a little bit worried because you got to play a division opponent for a third time now. They know you, you know them. Even though it's at home, normally it's just something about Belichick in this situation where I'm just like, I kind of want to go. I will go with it. I think the Patriots will win in a very low scoring, very close game. I think down to the fourth quarter.
16-13 Patriots.
I can see that. Happening. I just hope it's not a snowstorm like it was last week. That would a couple weeks ago as a blizzard. I can see. I'm going to go 17-12. I think it's going to be something. Somebody's going to try a 2-point conversion. 17, yeah, because they're going to try to go for 2, try to chase points, and they're going to miss it. And I'll go 17-12. I just look at the way that the 49ers just run the ball very well. And I look at the way that the Cowboys had issues when it came to the trying to stop it defensively. So when I look at all that stuff there, I look at the quarterback, I look at Jimmy Garoppolo playing well, rising to the occasion to defeat the Rams to get in there and they get a roll. I don't think if they had played the same like overtime thriller, had the Raiders and Chargers did, I think that would have been a little bit okay, they're going to be spent. But I look at the fact they were able to get the win in regulation, so I didn't have to spend extra time. It's not that far of a plane ride from San Fran to Arlington. I look at this game, and I really think the San Francisco 49ers win this game. I think they win running the ball. They get up on the Cowboys. They get up on the Cowboys. They play the ball control game, and they win.
I think they win by 10 or more. I think they're going to win convincingly. I think it's going to be a sad day in Dallas. I think that they really spent their load out in Philly. I think it's going to make for it's really weird to me how the commentators were really, if you listen to that game with the sound on, the commentators really, they were acting like we had Darius Slay and Avonte Maddox and those guys out there, like when, you know, they were drawing it up, like they were making really nice plays. I think it's going to be just like when they beat the heck out of the Washington football team. And actually they beat the Eagles reserves by less than they beat starters for Washington. So, and then they came out the next week against Arizona, a real football team, and got embarrassed in Dallas. So I think we're going to see a rerun of that. I'm excited for it because it's going to be right after the Eagles game. So one way or another, we got something to look forward to. It's going to be tough. Pittsburgh goes to Kansas City. That's an exciting one for me. What do you think about that one?
Ben Roethlisberger had a very good career. He showed a lot by getting Pittsburgh in there one more into the tournament one more time with that comeback that they had, which I still for life we don't know how they beat the Ravens that way. Cause I thought the Ravens had them dead to rights, but I thought he did a very good job willing them in there. It's a whole different ball game going into Kansas City, who's mad that they won't be getting that vital 1 seed. I look at all of that, and I just don't see how the Steelers can A, stop that high-power Kansas City offense, and B, how Roethlisberger can basically move that team down the field with that pass against that Kansas City pass rush. Now Kansas City's doesn't have the most stout defense. I get that. They're not one of the, to me, they're not like a top 3-4 defense to me. But they play well enough and they get enough pressure to make things a little tough on quarterbacks. And with Ben not being able to move the way he used to do, I think it's funny. I saw there was a meme somebody had created one saying it was the Ben Roethlisberger retirement party in Kansas City. Unfortunately, I think that's what it's going to be. I can see Kansas City winning that game handily, like 31 to like 31-14, 31-17 in that range.
I'm 100% with you, man. And my mom's a Steelers fan. They got a bunch of Steelers in the family from Pennsylvania and all that. And just as a football fan, you know, you kind of, unless you're like a Ravens fan or Browns or Bengals, or Cowboys, you kind of like, there's like a soft spot in all our hearts for the Steelers. I think the Chiefs are eager to prove that they're back, that they're still that team. I honestly think that this is I know there's people who come down both sides of this, but I think that this Kansas City Chiefs team is the most dangerous Kansas City Chiefs team that we've seen in the last few years, because they really can beat you a number of ways. Like, I still think that they haven't played their best ball yet. I think getting McCole Hardman some touches last week, getting him some momentum against some real NFL starters was going to be a big deal. And I think 31 might be underselling what they're about to do to Pittsburgh. I'm calling this one 38. I'll take your 12. 38-12.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that, because even look at the Kansas City running back situation. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he goes down, and let's just insert Darrell Williams, and then he just goes off. It's crazy how deep they are in certain positions, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised they come out of the AFC personally. I think they're that good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So Cardinals, we talked about the Cardinals a second ago.
I'm going heavy Rams on this one, like heavy Rams, because I look at the way the Cardinals have been leaking oil. They have been Man, they really miss DeAndre Hopkins. They really do. Because when you see that offense with him versus without him, it's just oof. It's ugly on that one too. And Kyler Murray, I don't know what's going on with him too. Like it just seems like he's not as composed as he normally is. He just seems composed. It seems like he's like I look at a guy who has all this talent. And I look at a guy who's can use his legs. He has the arm, but it just seems like he gets really flustered a lot. And I don't know what's there with that, but I do know that when you look at this Rams defense, when you look at what they have on it, Aaron Donald is going to be Aaron Donald. You got Von Miller on the out. You got Von Miller on the outside. I think that alone can go a long way of basically frustrating that off the timing and not letting him get enough time to throw the ball quickly because he's going to throw to AJ Green. Yeah, Kirk out there.
Zach Ertz, man.
I think he's taken away out of this game. I think they can scheme him out of this game because that he's become Murray's safety blanket like he did for so many years in Philadelphia. He's become Murray's safety blanket. But I think if I'm the Rams, I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, go ahead and dump it off down 5-10 yards because we'll stop you. You're not going to get anything deep. And then that's when Murray, I think, is going to try to force one. Is going to pick over. And even though Matthew Stafford has shown times of the Matthew Stafford of the Lions, the bad version, he's shown enough times he can make some plays when it counts. But I'm going to go Rams. I'm going to go Rams 34, Cardinals 23.
You said heavy though, so that's a lot closer game than.
Yeah, and I think a lot of those are going to be garbage points by the Cardinals after that. So after maybe the fourth quarter, like 10 minutes left, you see Stafford laughing on the sideline. Then Murray's looking mean, just trying to go. Oh, okay, we gotta get this.
So they go away like 27-10, and then the Cardinals get a couple garbage time touchdowns, onside kick, and then in the end, people will be like, "Oh, this was a close playoff game." That's what you're seeing.
I think we'll be on backup quarterback alert at one point for the Rams. I think it's going to be that. It's going to look that bad. I think it's going to look that bad. They just. I don't know what the Cardinals just look bad. Cliff Kingsbury. I don't know what it is about him. First half, Cliff Kingsbury. He looks like the second coming of like Air Coryell. What was his other office? Second half looks like Chip Kelly in the latter years of the Eagles. It's something going on there. I don't know what it is.
If they win, then this would be Odell's first playoff win.
Yep. And he better stay away from I know it's in Arizona, so he's not around boats, but he better stay away. No pictures on boats or nothing. Because don't he better not ruin this whatsoever. But they're in LA, yeah. So they're in LA. So yeah, they might do that. But yeah, I'd say stay away. Just ride it out there. Don't do anything stupid, Odell. Just
even if you got one catch and it's a close game, do not because if they lose, if this prediction doesn't hold and the Cardinal and the Rams lose, he's going to be the GOAT. People are gonna throw him way up under the bus. All week will be the Odell week.
We gave away so many picks to get him in here. We signed this guy. This went for it. We don't have a first round draft pick. So much. It could get ugly. Well, if they, I shouldn't say that they do have enough fans there, but if they have fans in the stands for there, but yeah, it's LA. So
yeah, it's the playoffs. They got hotels there. They're gonna have fans. They're gonna have liquored up fans.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. Oh, LA liquored up fans. Oh gosh, if it's like a Dodgers Giants game, it's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get ugly.
They're gonna have the stars out there. That's gonna be a heck of a atmosphere. So
that's
exciting.
True.
So the main event for the people probably listening to this show and the people who read your columns, smart people, like I said, Eagles versus the Bucks. What do you see?
This is a game, and I've gone back and forth in my mind over and over with this when it comes to it. I see the Eagles getting some success running the ball. I really, truly do think they can run the ball against them. I think it comes down all the way to the last second where I think by the time Jalen Hurts leaves the field in the fourth quarter, the Eagles have a lead. But like every other script that we've seen that involves Tom Brady, actually, no, it's going to be tied. Excuse me. I think it's going to be it's going to be tied 2020. With like 2 minutes left, Brady moves the ball down the field and gets enough for a game-winning field goal and he hits it. I think it's 23-20, and it's just going to be one of those shell shock. I don't know what it is about the Eagles playing in Tampa Bay. I still remember Bruce Gack, the 63-yarder with Matt Bryant hitting the 60-yarder, Bruce Grakowski. It's something about Tampa Bay that the Eagles don't. That it's their bugaboo, and I just see it being one of those games where everybody's going to feel it's like, hey, everybody's going to be mad afterwards because they lost in the last seconds and they felt like they should have had it, blah, blah, blah. But it's going to be when you look back at it, I think it's going to be one of those games where you can see this team has potential. This team has some pieces here. They just got to use those 3 first-round draft picks and some of those other resources they have to build. So I'm going to go final Buccaneers 23, Eagles 20. And I just lost. I think all those people that were reading this stuff were just going to click off and never read again.
You got to call it how you see it, not how you want it. Now, I say that, and then I tell the people what I think is going to happen. I think the Eagles win 27-26. I
can see that happening.
I think what happens is the Eagles actually get out to like a 27 to 13 lead, and then Brady makes a furious comeback, fails at getting a 2-point attempt, and then that's how I think Brady ends the game with the ball, and somehow, some way they make it out of there with a win and head to Green Bay. I really just feel it for some, and I could be completely wrong. This could be a funny tape next week. Oh, that crazy Eagles fan dude that is thinking he's going to beat the GOAT. But I really like our corners, and I really think that if we can scheme it right, Avante could largely take away Gronkowski. You can't man him up, but if we scheme it right, he can. How do you think we even guard? Do you think that's what it is, Avante, or what?
As much as I would love to see a man-to-man, I think they play a little bit more zone, and that's what I'm like. And that's why I think they're going to. It may come back to bite them in the vital moments. I think they play a lot of like cover. If anything, I think they play a little bit more cover 2. I know they don't have. See, the key is going to be Godwin's out, so you don't have to worry about him running deep down the field. And Antonio Brown, who led the last game with 13 catches, he's gone. So I'm looking at if I'm playing. I personally will play a lot of 1 high, play them a lot of bump and run down there. I may shade. I'm using Marcus Epps a lot more, but then I'm using a lot of 3 safety looks, like the big nickel look. I'm going to place Marcus Epps down there to man up against Gronkowski. I'm still going to use my other safety to play like in the cover 2, but just to bracket him to give him some support. And I shade the other safety over toward the side of Mike Evans. I don't think you'll need it because I think Slay will do a good enough job, but I just shade him over just in case. And then from there on, I say, hey, if you're going to make Cameron Brate beat you, make OJ Howard beat you, not the big team, or you'll see a lot of dump offs to Leonard Fournette or Ronald Jones, and then all of a sudden you see them running them Texas routes. Next thing you know, they're singled up on like TJ Edwards down the field, and they get better at that. That's the only thing I can see. I would, if I'm getting, I let that be open, but it's tough.
I don't see either team blowing each other out. I think it's going to be an exciting game. I think it's going to be worth every minute to watch. I really hope Jonathan Gannon does not if Steve Nelson ends up on Mike Evans, then we're in trouble. Like, he needs to take these second half game plans and start it from the kick, because he has Slay trail people in the second half, and we're having these shutouts. But he's trying to get cute in the first half and try stuff out. This is not the time to try stuff out. Let's Slay cover Mike Evans from the jump.
And that's what I think they're going to start. I really, truly believe that. I really believe it. And then they'll worry about the back end coverage, that one too. But I think a game like this, and you got to know, like, even though he mentioned during his availability today that he was going to talk to Howie and Nick about what he's going to do with a head coaching job. Deep down, he wants to be a head coaching job. The focus is going to be, they're going to mention during the broadcast, Jonathan Gannon's a head coaching candidate. His name's popping up here and there. So, he's going to want to put his best foot forward. So I truly think that you'll see Slay following Edwards around a lot early. And then that's when the chess match begins. Then Brady's going to probably go to whatever side and Nelson's on, and then that's where then all the adjustments start to happen that way. I think that's where you'll see a lot of stuff happen.
Well, Chris, thanks again for coming on, my man.
Hey. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for having me on. It's always great talking to you, Matt. It's always fun talking football, and it's going to be a fun weekend, long, fun weekend.
Absolutely. And you know, if we win though, you know, Philadelphia fans are big superstitious people, which I am. So if we win, you're gonna have to come on again next Tuesday to chat about it.
The conference room is set. I got it booked out. Nobody else around. We'll be back.
All right, Chris. Thanks, man.